You ask me what I'm sipping on and what are my dreams, yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you, honey, it's only one thing. I'm sipping Crystal XO Cognac jeans.
Welcome to Max's Cognac Review. Thanks for joining me, fellow cognac connoisseurs. Today, I'll be reviewing a Calvados. Calvados is a apple brandy. It's distilled from apples. It comes from the region of Normandy in France. Normandy is famous for the Battle of D-Day, the World War II battle involving the Germans. Calvados, much like a cognac or armagnac, has a few different regions within it. The most prominent region is the Pays d'Auge, which is kind of like the Grand Champagne of cognac, and they also have the Dom Franc, which has 30% pears and 60 or 65% apples in the mix. So Calvados is much like a cognac or brandy, very similar. Similar with the age here. This is an XO. It is a 6-year minimum barrel-aged spirit, and it is regulated and controlled by certain laws, much like cognac or armagnac. I'm going to give it a little splash here and give it a try. So, make sure coat the glass and get a good nose. The Berneroy Calvados I have here is not exactly a top prestigious brand, but it is a very accessible brand. It's very commonly found. They have a VSOP, I believe, just like cognac, meaning it's aged a minimum of 4 years. But the XO here was very cheap, in my opinion, very moderately priced. It was about $25. So I definitely recommend, if you're going to get a Calvados, to at least go XO and up. There are many different age statements they use. Most good Calvadoses are usually within the range of 6-10 years and up. So I'm going to give it a nose. Very fresh, almost citrusy. You're not getting a lot of the dried red fruits that you get with cognac. A much crisper, subtler smell and nose here from the apples than you're getting with grapes. Very rich, very fruity, but very light at the same time. You know, basically getting a very rich, almost baked apple toffee, crispy apple cider nose. It's very, very, it's very nice, very, very complex, and there's a lot going on in there. It's a very dessert-like nose, but not too sweet at the same time. Very crisp, very refreshing. A burst of apples, a burst of white and green fruits, almost a green apple, crispy pear. There's not a burn, but a little bit of tingling and spice that you get from the finish, and a little bit of sweetness, but it's not overpowering. It's very delicate. Again, I feel like the apples are much more subtle than the grapes and give you a little bit more of a gentle spirit. It's very similar to a cognac. It's interesting to note the differences between having and the taste and nose between a cognac and a brandy that's distilled from apples. The apples give it a unique taste, and when you reflect back on cognac and the cognacs you've had, you really can kind of highlight what the grapes contribute on their own, flavor-wise and profile-wise. So it's kind of nice to to try a different kind of brandy, just even to expand your taste palette and to be able to kind of look back on cognac from a different perspective. Very nice. Although this is not one of the top flight Calvados, I think it's incredibly reasonably priced. Probably a very overlooked spirit, but it's much like a cognac. In fact, it predates cognac. This has been around since the 1500s, and it is a very noble spirit. I would recommend this, and I think I'm going to give it a 91 out of 100. I look forward to trying many more, and I appreciate you taking the time to join me. Until next time, cheers.
Baby, let me pull this fit